Day 18 of the Diddy trial just ended. Audio recordings of Diddy have been released, along with disturbing details about his sexual behavior. Joe Rogan is now talking about these claims, saying Diddy has gone too far. Diddy's lawyers are asking for a mistrial, saying Cassie lied when she testified. Another woman, known as Jane, victim 3, returned to the stand. She cried while describing the horrible things Diddy made her do during something called freak-offs. There's a lot going on, so let's break it down.
And that there's also like people that are elites, and that's their thing. Like their thing is to do something that is horrible, and it's not available to other people. So it's like, I think there's like a sickness that people have when they have power, like extreme power, and then well, what else can I do? What else can I do? What else is what else is taboo? What else is forbidden? Like all this Diddy shit that's coming out. Like
I was just gonna say, doesn't that sound topical?
Jesus Christ! The first day of the trial, did you pay attention to any of that stuff? I looked at it for like 10 minutes this morning, and I was like, I gotta stop. I can't look at this.
Well, what freaks me out is the people sitting in the courtroom listening to it.
Right.
And there's a wide spectrum of people that are getting subjected to it, and you just sit there and go,
yeah, well, not only that, how about the fact that this guy was running this for decades? He was doing this for decades to who knows how many fucking people, and everybody was scared to talk about it because he'd have them.
Diddy is a sick person.
Diddy is being described as deeply disturbed. He and other powerful people were allegedly involved in sex trafficking and made women do horrible things. These elites enjoy having control and humiliating others. Cassie said Diddy would sit and direct everything that happened during these events, even telling male escorts exactly what to do. If she ever spoke out or acted in a way he didn't like, he would become violent. Diddy treated Cassie like a thing he owned, not like a human being.
Yeah, it's really wild, man. Evil is a real thing, you know? Nobody wants to believe, because if you believe in the devil, right? If you believe in Satan, you believe in something that's silly. Like most people a lot of people believe in God. If you ask people, do you believe in God? Yeah, well, I'm not religious, but I believe in God. Okay, well, do you believe in the devil? Most people will say no. But do you believe in evil acts? Well, yeah, well, people certainly do evil things. Well, where do you think that comes from? If evil is real, what is it about us that makes us want to deny the possibility that there's some nefarious force that is in human beings, that influences human beings? It's not as simple as like some people are bad, some people are good. No, maybe evil is a real element that you have to fight in life. And that maybe this is just something that's been documented all throughout history, but our arrogance and our secular society wants to keep us from recognizing that as an actual factor.
Victim 3, a woman who once dated Diddy and is now using the name Jane in court, cried as she told her story. She said Diddy made her do sexual things with several men at once. He would also give her a lot of drugs every night to keep her awake.
Jane was back on the witness stand for her first full day of testimony. The prosecutor played an audio recording for the jury of a hotel night with a male prostitute Jane identified as Dawn. On the recording, Jane and Dawn are looking for a condom, but Combs didn't allow it and can be heard saying, quote, "You're taking that expletive." Now, Jane testified, quote, "I just didn't want to disappoint my lover. He would be unhappy and wouldn't be satisfied with me." Jane went on to tearfully tell the jury about her birthday in 2023 when she said she was made to have sex with 3 different men in addition to Combs. The prosecutor asked, why? Jane responded, "I don't know. It had become so routine," and added that she turned robotic. Jane told the jury that after a while, Combs didn't have to directly ask her for these hotel nights. She testified, "I knew it was to be expected." Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges. If convicted, he faces the possibility of life in prison.
One of the worst parts is that Diddy's partners in these crimes haven't been identified yet. It's clear he wasn't acting alone. Records show he was flying women all over the world. But who he was sending them to is still unknown. People are comparing him to Jeffrey Epstein, but say Diddy has even more proof, like video recordings. That may be why some witnesses are now missing.
You know, I've had conversations with people about it, and it's like, Jesus, like just trying to get the documents, like when they're trying to get the Epstein files, like the state of New York, one of the district attorneys was they were hiding documents that have forced them to get documents. I think there's so many powerful people that are on those lists. There's so many powerful people that went and partied. Air quotes, partied. And how many of them went to the Diddy parties? Have you been paying attention to the trial?
Oh, yeah.
Trials. Wild.
Why don't they air it the same way they aired the coverage that Johnny Depp got?
I know. Why don't they? I don't know. They should. The ratings would be amazing.
Unreal.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing? Why wouldn't you air that?
What's going to happen though, you think?
Well, Diddy's going to be in jail for the rest of his life. I think he's probably going to get.
Think he's going to sing though?
I don't know. I don't even think it matters. I mean, it's a lot of it is.
But then it's just another Epstein. It's Elaine Maxwell. Where there's someone indicted and nobody else indicted for taking kids to
to no one. Right. What is the next crazy thing that's going to explode in the news? Is Bill Clinton's going to have an OnlyFans? Like, what is going to happen? What is the next thing that's going to make us all go, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck is going on?
It's coming.
How many guys were on video saying, ain't no party like a Diddy party? How many people like openly talked about being there?
LeBron?
Yeah, how Ashton Kutcher, all these people. Like, you guys all went. You didn't see nothing? You didn't see nothing?
Yeah.
Donnell
went? Yeah. Did he? Of course he did.
Donnell trying to defend himself.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Is he trying to defend himself right now?
It's pretty funny.
I got to call him up. Donnell, you got to back away from that.
Isn't there a video with Kamala?
She was at one of the Diddy parties?
Isn't she in the background with?
It might have been the difference between Diddy parties and freak offs. Oh my God.
They're giving him shit too because he's sitting in his.
The guy from Chappelle Show?
Yeah.
And then Dave's there too. And then Russell Simmons too. Oh boy. But is that at a party or is that just a group of them together?
They were like on a yacht or something like that.
Okay, but that's not the Diddy party.
No, yeah. It's not like they were at kind of.
I think.
On a recent episode of his podcast, Joe Rogan talked about Diddy's entire plan. He explained that some big Hollywood names went to Diddy's parties to make new artists feel comfortable. Once at the party, people were given drinks that may have been drugged and were pressured into doing things they didn't want to do.
You think Diddy was rogue or Diddy was like a Epstein type? It's working for somebody.
That's a good question. Well, it would be a great way to compromise celebrities. Yeah. And get them to say whatever you want them to do, get them to do whatever projects you'd like them to do. And, if you're a bunch of other celebrities are there, you're like, oh, look, Bill Clinton's here. This is fine.
Yeah.
This is cool. Look at this. Like, Brad Pitt's here. Oh, this is cool. You don't even think there's anything wrong with being there. Meanwhile, you're getting drugged up and filmed. And then they're passing out punch. Have some punch, Aaron. And you have some punch, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm feeling really good. I just feel amazing. You're all mopped up. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. Probably a combination of things they give you.
And it's all being filmed.
Crazy. Now, if that's not an intelligence agency operation, it's just one evil super genius who figures out how to compromise everybody by providing this crazy freak off party. Everybody's got to put their phones away. Okay, we're going to put our phone away. No one's going to know anything. Yeah, it means there are cameras everywhere. It's just one guy doing that. What a diabolical human being.
Yeah.
He seems pretty diabolical.
He's probably working with somebody or for somebody.
Maybe.
And maybe he just got too far out there.
Some of the shit that came out in the trial, though, like he's forcing his girlfriend to have sex with prostitutes while he was sitting there jacking off with a bandana on. She'd rub the on his nipples. Like, what are we even talking about? There's so many horrific accusations, though, involving young singers, like children.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's insane.
He makes R. Kelly look like a decent guy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
It is crazy. And meanwhile, the guy was like hanging out with Oprah, hanging out with Obama.
Jay-Z,
everybody.
I'm sure the Clintons were there at some point.
Maybe Bill.
People are wondering why some witnesses have suddenly disappeared even before the trial began. Joe Rogan suggested that the raid on Diddy's house might have been staged to destroy evidence. Now, key witnesses who could reveal Diddy's partners are missing. One protected witness even had her real identity leaked, even though the court ordered it to be kept secret. This case is no longer just about one music star. It's revealing a dark side of Hollywood, and powerful people are trying to cover it up. Someone is clearly trying to scare the witnesses.
By the way, interesting update from court. Sean Combs' counsel, Alexandra Shapiro, says some people on the internet think they figured out who Mia is. We got this video, again, that might be used to impeach her credibility. We got this video also from random people on the internet. We don't think this was ever posted on her social media. It was on some random website. Should we show it to you? I got to ask you, I have to move on to this question, Serena. This is quite alarming. How is this possible?
I have no idea how it's possible. And I'm sure Mia is probably, panicking in this moment in time. Like, are people stalking her on the internet, trying to figure out her identity? She testified that she was a victim, essentially. There's rape shield laws that exist to try to protect people in her position. And so this is really getting very nerve-wracking probably for her and just absurd for the courtroom.
If someone revealed her identity, is that a crime, Tyler?
No, it's not a crime if somebody revealed her identity, especially if they're not a part of this case. The reason they have these confidentiality orders and protective orders is for the parties involved to do their best to protect a Jane Doe or anybody proceeding under a pseudonym's identity. It is possible for the public to learn their identity, but it's really the people who are part of the case who are agreeing to protect her confidentiality. Once she got on that stand, it's very possible that somebody knew her identity. What I find more troubling and less likely is if this video is being sent by random people on the internet, and that's what they want to proffer as evidence in this criminal trial, I find that hard to be admitted. If they could track the video from one person who could confirm the identity of the person, and then it could be used for impeachment evidence, that's different. But random people on the internet sending videos, that opens the door to a can of worms.
The more we learn, the more suspicious things seem. Some believe that Homeland Security, not the FBI, was sent in on purpose because the case involves powerful people the government wants to protect. Photos show that 3 U.S. presidents and even British royals were at Diddy's parties. If the tapes from those parties were made public, it could be a major national security issue.
I don't know. There's a lot going on. A lot of rumors are flying.
The rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein-type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors, yeah. I don't know that there's any proof or anything other than that.
The thing is, like, we're getting the rumors from the internet, and
Right.
the internet thinks that the Taliban took out that bridge in Baltimore. So it's like, who fucking knows? Who knows what's real?
That's what Diddy's lawyers, I think, said. It was like that. These are just trumped up charges. Not trumped up. I don't think they said that, but like bullshit charges.
Dude, when Homeland Security invade your house,
you got problems
with dudes with fucking guns and body armor.
Someone said that they weren't there to take stuff; they were there to delete everything. Like the real people that were in there,
Oh,
like
that's
the same
funny.
thing with Epstein.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
that's of course. There's layers upon layers. When you get into these fucking conspiracy theories, man, they never end. They never end. There's just layers upon layers upon layers.
It's fun to talk about.
It is fun to talk about. It's hard to know what's true, but
knows?
People genuinely love it when someone like Diddy gets caught, though. The glee that people have is weird.
Why?
Because he's too successful. Also, it's like there was always so much East Coast, West Coast shit that's still like in the zeitgeist, like with Biggie and Tupac, and they were all hating at each other, and they both got killed, and there was a lot going on. And then there's people that thought that Puffy was involved and Suge Knight was involved.
Allegations implicate dozens of unidentified witnesses and alleged co-conspirators around the world. And some of the key witnesses to the supposed incidents are dead. basically meaning how can we defend against it? The defense is not even permitted to share the identities of the individuals described in the disclosure letter with Mr. Combs until April 18th, further hampering defense counsel's ability to investigate collectively. These new allegations require many months, if not years, to investigate, and if admitted, would require a series of mini trials, certain to double the length of a trial the government originally said would last 3 weeks. So this is an explosive allegation that on its face, I don't know if I necessarily disagree with. If they are bringing in evidence of uncharged conduct, wouldn't the defense have an opportunity to investigate it and challenge it? It seems like they're making a point. So if this evidence is allowed in, there is a chance this could delay the trial significantly. We all know Combs wants to go to trial, but how can he properly defend himself against this in just a few weeks?
Cassie's friend, Brianna Bongolan, testified in court that Diddy once held her over the edge of a 17th floor balcony. She also saw him throw a knife at Cassie. Brianna said Cassie often had bruises, but she didn't speak up because she was afraid. Diddy told everyone around him that his political connections made him untouchable, and if anyone reported him, it would only hurt Cassie more.
Here in New York, we are in week 4 of Sean Diddy Combs' criminal trial. The music mogul has pleaded not guilty to federal charges against him. Prosecutors continue to call witnesses who say they were victims of Combs' alleged abuse. Jerika Duncan has the latest, and we warned you that some of the details may be disturbing.
A former personal assistant for Sean Diddy Combs returned to the stand Monday after accusing the rap mogul of physical abuse and sexual assault. Testifying under the pseudonym Mia to protect her privacy, she alleges that Combs groped and raped her. She told the jury she didn't speak up because she, quote, would have been silenced and would have lost everything. On cross-examination, defense attorney Brian Steele tried to undermine Mia's account, insinuating she lied about the abuse and was after Combs's money.
This is the type of questioning you do in a he said, she said type of situation where there is no corroboration. This was the perfect opportunity for the defense to get aggressive, to point out those inconsistencies.
Steele showed jurors dozens of examples of Mia sending friendly, supportive texts to Combs for years after her employment with him had ended. Steele also emphasized that before the trial, Mia didn't mention sexual assault allegations until after Cassie Ventura's lawsuit. On the stand, Mia told the jury, I have never lied in this courtroom. Everything I've said is true. She testified that she didn't come forward sooner about alleged abuse because she was, quote, terrified and brainwashed after working for Combs.
It only takes one juror to throw a wrench in the prosecution's plan and not get a conviction. If even one juror gets back there in that deliberation room and causes some reasonable doubt, that could be the defense's case.
One of Cassie's friends, Brianna Bongolan, testified that Sean Diddy Combs dangled her off a 17th floor apartment balcony and how she saw him throw a knife at Cassie. Brianna told the court that she saw Cassie bruised and hurt several times, but didn't know what to do since she was scared of Diddy. Diddy had convinced the people around him that, due to his political connections, nothing would happen even if they reported the crimes, and the only one getting hurt would be Cassie.
An alleged sex-trafficking victim is expected to testify here today that Sean Combs used lies, drugs, and threats to force her into freak-offs. After the jury hears more from a different woman who claims Combs hoisted her over that balcony.
This morning, a critical witness for the prosecution, a woman testifying under the pseudonym Jane, who prosecutors say began a secret relationship with Sean Combs in 2020 and spent years in hotel rooms for forced sex. Jane's testimony will follow the cross-examination of Brianna Bongolan, known as Bonna, who described years of drug use with her friend Cassie Ventura.
Cassie, all the way right!
And she testified Ventura FaceTimed her before the premiere of her movie The Perfect Match.
I want to try something new.
What did you see? Prosecutors asked. Her black eye, Bongolan said. I was a little quiet, and I remember saying, I'm sorry. Bongolan testified Combs once hoisted her over this balcony after barging into Ventura's apartment on the 17th floor. For a split second, I was thinking about if I was going to fall. She said Combs kept yelling at her, you know what the expletive you did, before throwing her onto this furniture, leaving bruises. Combs denied it happened, and the defense challenged her account.
We have some video of her as well. And so she has been testifying about a particular incident in which Sean Combs dangled her over a balcony. We have some full screens we can put up for you in which we're telling you a little bit about who Brianna is. Now, she goes by the name Banna. She's a friend of Cassie Ventura, who sued Combs in 2024 for allegedly groping her and dangling her over a balcony. She testified about this incident. So Cassie Ventura testified about this particular incident, testifying under an immunity order granted by the judge. So yes, Brianna is under immunity here, immunity order. She got on the stand earlier and she invoked the fifth. So the big thing, the big takeaway from her testimony is about being dangled over the balcony. Defense counsel has really been trying to tear her testimony apart, attacking her credibility as well as inconsistent statements they're saying that she has made as to where exactly this dangling incident took place, saying that Cassie Ventura said it happened in a hotel, but you're up here on the stand saying it happened in an apartment, basically indicating that her and Cassie are colluding together just in order to get money from Combs, because Brianna has filed a $10 million civil suit against Sean Combs.
Many of Diddy's victims say they felt trapped. He controlled their lives and even threatened their families. One witness, going by the name Mia, said Diddy brainwashed her and made her believe that if she ever told the police, he would kill her.
Diddy's former chief of staff, Christina Coram, had evidence found in her phone that was seized. Today, we heard the testimony from Eddie Garcia, who was a security guard at the Intercontinental Hotel, and he said that Christina Coram and Diddy reached out to him multiple times to try to get possession of that video of Diddy and Cassie Ventura, which he later claimed that him and his manager made this video disappear for Diddy and they were paid $100,000. After his bombshell testimony, the government said, "I'm going to enter a stipulation into evidence." During a search at the Miami airport, law enforcement seized 2 cell phones from Christina Coram. And they are talking about when they rolled up on Diddy trying to get on his private jet when they were raiding the house in Miami and in LA. And after re-looking at all of those photos, I was able to confirm Christina Coram was with Diddy this day, and this is when they took both of her cell phones from her. Weirdly enough, this is the very last time that we would publicly see Christina Coram with Diddy, and before she would go ghost, deleting all of her social media accounts, even her LinkedIn. Now, the government is saying that there was evidence in one of these cell phones. There was 24 contacts, including one for Eddie My Angel. Eddie Garcia, the security guard, just had testified that Diddy kept calling him Eddie My Angel after he got the video for Diddy. And they were also able to confirm that it was Eddie's cell phone number that was attached to this name in this phone. And if you remember, in his testimony, he said Christina Coram even called his personal number to try to get him to get this video. And there was another contact that said Eddie My Angel, friend, Intercontinental. There was also a photo of the IDs on Christina Coram's device. In Eddie's testimony, he said that Diddy made them hand over their IDs before they signed the NDAs and got the $100,000.
So far, only one person close to Diddy has been named in court, his chief of staff, Christian Quarles. She's being compared to Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's assistant. Evidence on her phone shows that Diddy paid bribes to cover up his crimes. Diddy was also connected to New York Mayor Eric Adams and had ties to federal agents, which may explain how he avoided arrest for so long.
Today, the jurors in his trial heard from a former security supervisor at that hotel. His name is Eddie Garcia, and he testified that not long after the attack happened, Diddy's chief of staff, Christina Coram, called him to ask for the footage. He said that he told her no on the phone, and again when she showed up in the lobby, said he told her no again. But that night, Garcia testified, Christina Coram called him again, and this time she handed the phone to Diddy. Garcia told the jury in Combs' federal trial that Puff said if that video ever got out, it would ruin his career. He testified that Diddy promised to, quote, take care of him if he could only find a way to get that video. And so Eddie Garcia, who was promised immunity to tell the truth in court, reached out to his boss, who agreed to sell the video for $50,000. And the following day, Garcia brought a USB drive with that video to a meeting he said included Diddy, that chief of staff, Christina Coram, and one of Diddy's bodyguards. But before handing over that little USB stick, Garcia said he told Diddy he was worried. He was concerned he might be implicated in a crime if Cassie Ventura ever called the police and complained. At which point, according to Garcia, Diddy had a plan. FaceTimed Cassie and ordered her to, quote, "Tell him you wanted this too, Cassie." A freshly beaten up Cassie was there on the FaceTime wearing a hoodie and complied with Diddy's demand, Eddie testified. He then said he signed a contract swearing that no other copy of the video existed and swearing him to silence with $1 million penalty if he ever spoke of what he saw or of what he did, i.e. the payoff. In return, Garcia says he was handed a bag containing $100,000, double the amount that Garcia's boss had asked for.
There's a chance that this trial could get thrown out.
Eddie Garcia, the head of security at the hotel where an assault involving Diddy happened, testified that Diddy and his chief of staff, Christian Quarles, pressured him to sign a non-disclosure agreement, NDA. They offered $100,000 to be split among the hotel security team if they deleted the video of Diddy beating Cassie. Garcia admitted he signed the NDA, which also required him to stay quiet and help destroy the evidence.
This just happened on a Saturday. Diddy's attorneys have filed for another mistrial. They are claiming, these are their claims, that the government knew that Cassie was lying in her testimony. And I'm going to go over all of this in an episode that should be up tomorrow because we're cross-referencing Cassie's testimony, Bonna's testimony. But what they're mainly arguing, in essence, is that Cassie testified on the stand that she saw Sean Combs, Diddy, dangling her friend Bonna off of a 17th floor balcony. And the defense is saying in their motion, well, that can't be true because the government has text messages between Cassie and Christina Coram where Cassie texts her, "Hey, I just found out some crazy shit." Okay, I'm going to read you the full text verbatim, but it says, "Hey, I just found out some crazy shit. He came into my house while my friends were here and we were all sleeping and they woke me up because he was ringing the bell crazy at 3 a.m. And when he came in, I went to my room and he went at Bonna, choked her, and then dangled her feet off the balcony. This is crazy, ... I have to stay away." So the defense is arguing that the prosecutors knew that Cassie did not see Diddy dangling Bonna off the balcony, and yet they proceeded to ask her multiple questions about what she saw that night. They put in their motion for a mistrial. This is their last sentence. Quote, "Accordingly, the court should grant a mistrial based on prosecutorial misconduct."
Victims are starting to speak out, but some witnesses are disappearing, and the most powerful names involved still haven't been exposed. The big question now isn't just whether Diddy will be held accountable, but whether others will be exposed too. Will justice finally happen? Or will the elites cover things up again? Let us know what you think in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more updates on this major Hollywood scandal.